Hello and welcome to this week's Wild Spirits News. My name is Sibylle and today I'm going to talk to you about how to actually change your life. You see, statistics on people who set out to make big changes in their lives are fairly discouraging. It turns out that most people set out with the best of intentions and then fail to implement any lasting change anyway. You see, I'm one of the few people who have managed in the past, and more than once, to make a really big change. And that's not because I'm better or superhuman or have above average willpower. On the contrary, it's because I know an approach that actually works. And in the following, I'd like to share this approach with you. First of all, it's helpful to recognize that there are different types of people when it comes to making changes. I mainly recognize two types. One is the type that gets really enthusiastic and exciting about the change and sets out with enormous energy and willpower, making sweeping changes, implementing everything all at once. But then in the long run, when the first sparkle wears off a little bit, it just gets too exhausting and they stop and go back to the way things were before. The second type realizes they need to change, they want to make the change, but the task is so enormous, they get so overwhelmed by the prospect of how much they'll have to actually do to implement this change that they go into limbo, they freeze up and they never, in the end, implement the change after all. And of course then there's the third type, and those are the people who implement change and actually succeed at it in the long run. What are these people doing differently? Now, the way to implement a change that lasts, I call it the change formula, comes in two parts. The first part is to write down the big change that you desire. I'm always a big fan of writing things down. If you've known me for a while, you'll know that. Just write down what you would like to achieve, and then go on to break down this big goal into lots of small individual steps. Because every goal consists of individual steps. As they say, the longest journey starts with the first step. The rest of the journey are also individual steps. So find those steps. And then set out to implement one little step every day. Just one small change every single day. And it has to be a small change, not something sweeping, that you do per day. Plan maybe the next day or the next 3 days. See what works for you, but never plan more than a week ahead because that can get overwhelming again. Just plan in the short term, whilst keeping your big long-term goal in mind. Just plan the next small steps. Example, you're trying to eat more, eat healthy. So the first change could be, this is just an example obviously, the first change could be you've been drinking 4 cups of coffee for years every day. And now you want to reduce it to 2 cups of coffee. So you do that today. Today you drink 2 cups of coffee. Tomorrow you can once again do that step, 2 cups of coffee, because it's not a habit yet if you just did it once. And you implement that same step. It can be the same small step every day. That's my point here. Until that has become a habit. And then you can make another small change. Maybe change your breakfast from a fry-up to something healthy. Not all day, not cutting out entire food groups. Take small steps. Just change one meal that will be healthy every day. And then do that small step every day until that is a habit, and so on and so forth. I got back into shape by starting with literally 5 minutes of stretching in a day. I was quite overweight at the time. I was very unfit and I couldn't have done an hour's Pilates class. It's just it just didn't happen. So I started with 5 minutes of stretching, of turning, of trying to, and that very slowly increase that. And if you think, 5 minutes won't get you anywhere if you're trying to get into shape, then I'm telling you that within 4 months, I was a lot slimmer and had loads of energy and easily could go through an entire yoga or Pilates class. It adds up so quickly. So do the small steps. The second part is to get support. This could look like a support group. Maybe you'll find something in your area or in your nearest city. If you don't, find online support. Especially Facebook is really good for that. There's Facebook groups for absolutely everything. Like for people who trying to get back into shape, for people who are, if your change is about pursuing passions. There are Facebook groups for crafters, for painters, artists, for writers, for absolutely everything. Just look it up and find people who think the same way you do. Consider coaching. Obviously, I'm a coach, but I'm a coach because my own coaches have been so life-changing for me. And whenever I have successfully implemented a change in my life, it has been done through coaching. So I wholeheartedly recommend you to find somebody who you resonate with, and find somebody who's not just you resonate with, not just somebody who boasts how great they are. Research their credentials and research their qualifications. That's my recommendation, because I know a lot of people call themselves coaches and have no idea of coaching. I've done a weekend course and got a shiny certificate. Make sure they have a qualification that is recognized by one of the big international bodies. And if you resonate with them, get the coaching, and this is almost a guarantee for success. There are simply no fails with coaching as long as you show up and do the work. Or you could just get a buddy, a friend, or somebody you know who would like to do the same thing, and you hold each other accountable. Whatever works for you, do it and implement it, but don't think you can or should do it all by yourself. You're not lacking willpower. It is genuinely hard to implement a big change by yourself. We live in a hectic modern world full of distractions, so don't do that to yourself. Don't set yourself up for failure, set yourself up for success. Put an appointment into your calendar about 3 months from now, 90 days, with a reminder. And once that date comes up, stop and look back and appreciate what you have achieved. And I guarantee you'll be absolutely astonished at the changes you have accomplished with those tiny little daily steps that don't matter at all. You'll see how much they mattered after 90 days. You have to trust me on this, but after 90 days, you will see how successful the system actually is. And then you can take it from there. Are you a member of the Tribe of Wild Spirits yet? If so, perfect. And if not, why on earth not? What's wrong? Come on. Go to wildspiritscoaching.com and fill in a little form there. You'll receive a weekly email with Wild Spirits news. It's 100% spam free. That's guaranteed. In this weekly email, you'll find a link to the weekly video feature, like the video you've just watched, but also background information, additional resources, inspiration, and some exclusive offers that are exclusive only to subscribers. So go to wildspiritscoaching.com, or you can Google Wild Spirits Coaching. That'll get you to my website as well. Thanks for watching.